You know what's on my mind? Coding. Here on my daily thought bubble. Ever since this pandemic, we've all been forced to stay at home and do absolutely nothing. And I remember for the first week or so, I've been stuck watching a lot of movies, Netflix, YouTube, going on social media. And most of our lives were on pause. But it comes to a point where you have to decide that you have to keep moving forward because this pandemic is going to be around for at least another year, at the least. And we can't just stay stuck or stay on pause. We've got to move forward. And I've decided finally to face one of those biggest challenges that I was so afraid to push forward with because it was so daunting. It's programming, learning how to do computer programming or coding. And I always wanted to do it. Maybe for the last 3 or 4 years, I've thought about wanting to learn how to code, but I was so overwhelmed by the idea of how difficult it may be to learn a language such as coding. And so many languages. Where do I start? What program do I go with? What do I learn? Where do I study? I don't even know. But because of this pandemic and being locked down, I've spent a lot of time just researching. And I found an online course where I just decided to one day just do it. And it started simpler than I thought. And I realized that programming is not as difficult as most people like myself think it is. And for somebody like myself who hasn't gone back to school in a long time, this is something that's very new to me and is very challenging. And it isn't as difficult as I thought because they go through each lesson as simply as they can. And I figured if kids can learn this, why can't I? So, because of that, I decided to start learning programming. And I started with HTML. Now, for all the people, the web developers or the programmers out there, this is so simplistic, I know. But for me, this is a whole new world and it's amazing. So, I learned HTML. And then after that, I decided to learn C++. And I'm probably about 60% through with my class already. And eventually, I'm going to move to learning Java and Python and on to a goal of mine, which is to be able to create applications and programs for the blockchain. Because I believe that blockchain is the future. And I believe that that is what the internet was to us in the early 2000s when it started. Blockchain is a new revolution that's going to change everything. And it'll change the way we live. It'll change the way we interact. It'll change the way we do business, the way we do banking, the way we vote, the way we do inventory management, the way we do everything. And I want to learn that now. And I encourage everyone, if you're stuck and you're trying to figure out what to do with your life, maybe to learn programming because that is the language that is going to drive you to the future. And there are not enough programmers out there, and there is a huge demand for programming to be able to sustain this new world that we live in. Now more than ever, in this new world, programming is going to be the key to be able to move forward because it'll change the way we do everything. With that in mind, I'm so excited because my God, I'm learning all these new programming languages. And programming, by the way, programming languages are exactly that. They're languages. It is just like learning a new language, learning English, Chinese, learning French or Latin. It's just being able to figure out how to write in a different language so that the computer understands what you want and what you want it to do, and it'll do it. And it is easier than I thought. And this is a path that I'm going to be taking seriously because it is so exciting and challenging. I'll tell you how challenging it is for me. It is so challenging that at the end of each class that I take, I feel like my brain is satiated. It's full. And I have this tired feeling that is a good tired feeling. And I love it. And it gives me enough challenge. Instead of just doing random puzzles, this gives me a challenge that's productive because I'm learning something new. And that's what programming gives to me. And it's fascinating for me. And I realize my love for language, for learning, for math, for logic has been revitalized. And I have something that I look forward to now on a daily basis, learning something new in programming. So, for everyone out there that's thinking of something new to do, I would suggest that you go into programming, learn it, and it could lead to a new career for you. This is Chris Tan, and that's what's on my mind today here on my daily thought bubble. Okay, now that I've gotten this out of the way, I'm going to go back to my new love, which is programming. This is so cool.